Hello, and welcome to New Beginnings Start Today, the podcast for people who want to grow deeper in their faith with the Lord. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas Keffer, a minister, clinical, pastoral counselor in Roanoke, Virginia. And I have a passion for helping people to live their faith. Today, we're going to talk about life issues beginning in your heart, and how you can grow to trust the Lord with and for those issues in your life. Our days are filled with things that we have to deal with. The ability to deal with those issues all start in the condition of your heart. Make sure that you keep your heart close to the Lord to help you with those issues. I can think of many people I've talked with over the years that have presented issues that they were dealing with that seemed too difficult for them to get resolve about. This is when I would take them to Proverbs 4:23 that says, "Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life." King Solomon had to practice this every day with the enormous responsibilities he faced as the king of Israel. He knew the importance of taking things to God every day, to glean the wisdom to be able to deal with what he had to face. Even though most of us are not going to have to deal with the issues that King Solomon dealt with on a daily basis, the issues we do face are just as important as his. The question becomes, how are you going to deal with those issues? Where are you going to get the strength to have the ability to know how to handle those issues? You first have to see what you are feeling in your heart about how that issue is really affecting you. Some important issues people are facing today are, first, their marriage. I'm alarmed that George Barna gave a startling statistic. More divorces are happening with people attending church than those not attending church. I see that as a poor commentary on how effective the church is being helping couples with their marriages. We have to go back to the fundamental truth of successful marriages. Paul's admonition in Ephesians 5:21, it says, "You submit to one another out of your reverence for Christ." Couples have to learn how to prioritize their relationship. First, you cannot allow your schedules to run you. You have to take time for each other. If not, your spouse will live in their world and you will live in yours. It happens so frequently. And the outcome of that is, I really don't know you. I really don't know who you are anymore. And that is not healthy. Secondly, you have to learn to grow spiritually with one another. You have to learn how to pray with each other every day, to have personal devotions, allowing God's word to grow you. I'm amazed at how many times I would make a reference in counseling to an incident in Jesus' life, and the couple or the spouse had no idea what I was talking about. This must not be the case. You have to learn to grow spiritually with each other. And that takes time. That takes prioritizing. And in that there is also the importance of having a church home. That there is going to be worship every Sunday in your life. And I hear so many people tell me, but doctor, Sunday's the only day we have to sleep in. And that comment proves my point exactly. Proves my point exactly. There are just so many people, so many families that live so busily that 6 days out of the week they just run and run and run. And now Sunday seems to be the only day that they really have to rest. It's not true. It is not true. Church attendance today has become discretionary. And no wonder we are in the tumult that we are in. And so, thirdly, you have to talk with each other every day. You have to develop a quiet time, a time that you sit down and you talk with each other about the things that are going on in your life. My wife and I have been doing this for over 51 years. We talk with each other. And people have said to me, Dr. Keffer, what in the world have you and your wife talked about for all those years? And I say to them, we've only begun. I gave an assignment to clients that they would sit down and write about 5 incidences that they had with their spouse that were meaningful, that were pleasant, that were happy. And the husband would write down 5 things, and the wife would write down 5 things. And then they would set a time in their day when they would sit down and they would talk with each other. And I said, as you do this, you begin by saying, honey, do you remember when? Honey, do you remember what we did when? And I say, you have 10 times that you will have automatic success. And as you do it more and more and more, it will even get better. It is just so important. Fourthly, you have to learn how to have fun with each other. Designate a date night. Think of things that you want to do with each other, that's a lot of fun and that you enjoy. Because remember, all of these issues that you deal with, you have to keep your heart. Another huge issue that people deal with, parents deal with, are their children, their identity. Our children today are being bombarded with pressures of their environments that parents are really struggling to know how to handle. One thing would be that youth today are really finding it hard to find role models that they can respect. For example, their parents. Not so much because the parents are usually wanting to be there, but the children are finding, but you're not available. You're just not available to talk. So busy. And that causes youth to look to other sources to gain acceptance and approval. This many times leads them to being influenced by peers that are really not good role models. Many of their peers are in homes that are anything but stable. The number of friends that your children have that come from homes where they are raising themselves is unbelievable. Their value systems are so different than what you are teaching your children. Listen to their language. Listen to the words that they use, the phrases that they use. Look at their social media pages. How that they go to Snapchat and TikTok and so many other areas. And a lot of times very unhealthy what it is that they are viewing. Listen to their music. I am amazed at the music that our children are listening to today, because the lyrics are they're just vile. They're vulgar. They're just terrible. Look at their friends. Who are your children's friends hanging out with? Where are they spending their time? What are they doing? Tough. How important is academics to them? Schoolwork is becoming less and less important all the time. It is, what are we going to do this weekend? What are we going to do this evening? Where can we go? Who can we hang with? And it goes on and on. If teenagers in high school, what kind of goals do they have? There have been very, very few youth that I have talked with that even know what they want to do in life. All of this gives you great opportunities to instill your values in your children. Solomon writes, "The righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him." Chapter 20 and verse 7 of Proverbs. Parents, did you hear this? The blessings you give to your children all begin by living with integrity. When you tell your children that you're going to do something, then you do it. When you tell your children that you really appreciate them, show the appreciation. Let your children see how you love your wife. Let your children see how you love your husband. And it will give blessings that are immeasurable. This kind of relationship with your children is achieved by you being available to them and showing them that they were important to you, and that you have time to talk with them about what is going on in their lives today. Remember, keep your heart. Another enormous area of issues that people deal with is their jobs. I have talked with so many people that really do not like what they do as far as their work. I was talking recently with a single mom, and she emailed me. And the issues, just enormous. Estranged from her husband, who is thousands of dollars behind in child support. And the DSS just gives her a runaround with regards to making him accountable for it. She struggles with her finances, and she says to me, "Doctor, I need a financial miracle." She has 2 sons. One's in college and one's in grade school. Just doesn't know what to do about the irresponsibility of her husband. Haven't lived together for years. Then she is also disheartened about her job. They have moved her to 2 new positions, not giving promotions, not any additional remuneration, but to other areas where they needed a body. Asked me to pray for her to find a new position. So much unrest in the workplace, and it's not getting any better. When I tell people I knew that I was going to do this, be a preacher, be a counselor. When I was a kid, they looked at me and asked, "How did you know that?" I did because God touched me, and I knew what He wanted for my life. Not everybody can know that, but everybody can work unto the Lord. This is not some fantasy. This is how God expects us to get up and go to our jobs and work for Him. This kind of view will change your life and how you spend your time where you work. I do not see what I did or do as a job. It was my life. It is my life. You don't have to be a preacher or a counselor to live this way. You can see what you do as a privilege to bring honor to God. Remember, keep your heart. There are so many issues that want rather to steal the joy and happiness from your life. But you can decide to live staying close to the Lord so you can glean His love and care for your life. Solomon was so right in admonishing us to keep our heart with all diligence, for out of it springs the issues of life. I want to thank you for listening to this episode, and I want you to invite you to contact me and share how you are learning how to trust more people because of your trust in your relationship with the Lord, and how you're keeping your heart close to Him. Tell me about other issues that you would like me to address, and you can reach me at drdouglaskeffer@gmail.com. Until next time, God bless each of you.